Welcome everyone. This is the third lecture of gravitation, and till now we have covered a lot of things in gravitation, that is Newton's law of gravitation, and then the properties of the force, properties of the gravitational force, and after that we have seen that the gravitational force due to the point mass, okay, and in the previous lecture we have seen the gravitational force due to a extended mass as well. And in the extended mass we have seen that we were using the concept of integration. The reason was the gravitational force or the Newton's law of gravitation was valid only for point masses, okay, like the Coulomb's law in electrostatics was valid for point charges. Similarly, the Newton's law of gravitation was valid for point masses only. So in that, what happened, we were taking a point mass for in case of extended mass, we took some point mass and we measured the distance of the point from where we have to calculate the the gravitational force, and we integrated the small force from within certain limits in order to get the total gravitational force, okay. So that is what we do in case of gravitational field or in case of a gravitational force, okay. We have seen two examples in the previous lecture. One was of a straight rod, another was for any arc, and we have seen that for a given arc the value came out to be in form of the angle between the arc, angle subtended by the arc, and we have calculated it for for a semicircle or for a quadrant or for a given circle, okay. Now in this lecture we are going to understand, certain things about the gravitational field. Now what is a gravitational field, okay? You have heard of the term electric field, you have heard of the term magnetic field. Like in your childhood you used to have a bar magnet or some magnet, and when some iron pieces were at a very long distance from that bar magnet or that magnet, it was not attracted. But as you keep on bringing the iron nails closer to it, all of a sudden you see that it got attracted at a particular point. So then we used to realize that now it is into its electric or magnetic field, and that is why it is getting attracted. So magnetic field is a feel, or it is a sense of force, magnetic force. Electric field is a sense of electric force. Similarly, gravitational field is a sense of, or gravitational field represents the presence of gravitational force. So if there is some gravitational force, then only there will be some gravitational field, okay. Or you can say if there is some gravitational field, and if somebody if some mass comes in the gravitational field of some other mass, then it is going to get attracted by that gravitational force, okay. So gravitational field represents the presence of gravitational force, okay. Now what is this gravitational force? We have seen F is equal to G m1 m2 upon r square. Now what I mean to say is, let's say there is a capital M mass present here, okay. So it is having some field around it, okay. For example, if I am keeping a ball of mass M here, it is not getting attracted to this mass capital M because it is not in its field, okay. Now when I keep a ball of mass M, it is going to be attracted towards it. The reason is that it is going to be into its field, okay. It is going to be, this is something imaginary. So this is an imaginary field. We can consider this, write down. This is an imaginary field into which, or imaginary field created by a mass into which if some mass some mass enters, it will get attracted. It will get attracted. Why will it get attracted? Because it is into its field, it will get attracted. Okay. So that is the value of, or that is the meaning of gravitational field. Okay. Now the question is how to measure this gravitational field. How to measure this gravitational field? For example, I'll let you know that electric field is also measured by same way. Gravitational field is also measured by same way. I'll let you know the method. And before that, I'll tell you that there are a lot of similarities in between electrostatics and gravitation, or electric field and gravitational field. Electrostatic potential energy and gravitational potential energy. So there are a lot of similarities we'll be seeing as the lectures progress. Okay. So the question is how to find gravitational field. How to find gravitational field. Okay. So the method devised to find out the gravitational field is F is equal to, if you have to find out the gravitational field at some point, you have to find out the force at that point. You have to find out the force at that point and divide that force by a test mass. Divide that force by a test mass. Okay. For example, if you have to find out the gravitational field at a point P due to a given mass at some point, okay, and that mass for which the field is the distance between that mass and this small mass, point mass or test mass is r. So the force experienced by this mass m due to that mass, due to which we are calculating the gravitational field, the force experienced by that mass upon the mass itself is going to give you the gravitational field. Similarly, whatever be the direction of gravitational field is going to be the direction of whatever be the direction of force is going to be the direction of the gravitational field. Okay. Now what happens? What is going to be the unit? It is Newton, and this is mass. So Newton per kg, or Newton can be written as kg meters per second square upon kg. Kg meter per second square upon kg. So this kg will get cancelled, and the unit for gravitational field is going to be meters per second square. The SI unit for gravitational field, this is gravitational field. This is gravitational field. The SI unit for gravitational field is going to be meter per second square. Similarly, very important concept, very similar concept is with electric field also. Let's find it out. Electric field. Okay. Let's say there is an electric field in this direction. There is an electric field in this direction. Okay, from left to right or from along the direction of positive x-axis. And equidistant electric field shows that the electric field is uniform. These are the electric field lines. Like we have magnetic field lines, gravitational field lines. These are imaginary lines actually. So now, let's say the strength of this field is E. Okay. Now, if you have to find out the electric field, you will do what? Electric field is nothing but force experienced by a test charge. Electric field at this point, or let me draw it like this. For example, forget about these lines of force, you will get confused. For example, if I have to find out the electric field at this point P due to a charge plus Q placed here. Okay. Now what will we do? We will put a small test charge Q0 here. Small test charge. The reason why I am putting a small test charge is because it should not have a field of its own. The reason why we are putting a small test mass is because it should not have a gravitational field of its own. The greater the mass, greater will be the gravitational field. Smaller the mass, smaller will be the gravitational field. Or smaller the charge, smaller will be the electrostatic field. So that is why it should be small. Now, it is going to be gravitational field at point P is going to be electric field at point P is going to be force experienced by this point P upon this charge Q0. Okay, I will show you the analogy with mass also. So force experienced by point P is going to be K, that is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q, this is capital Q, and this is a small Q0, Q0 upon R square. Let's say this is the distance R, so this is going to be R. Okay, and this q naught. So this is going to be kq upon r square. Kq upon r square. This will be r square. So electric field at a point is going to be F upon Q, and it is given as kq upon r square. Electric field is equal to kq upon r square. Okay. Similarly, if you find out the gravitational field at a point P, let's say this is mass M, capital mass capital M, and I have to find out the gravitational field at this point P, which is at a distance r from n. Now how to do this? Again, we are going to do the same thing. Let's see how. We are going to put a small mass m naught here. And we are going to see the force experienced by this small mass m naught, and we will divide that by m naught itself. Okay, so that we will get the gravitational field at that point. So gravitational field at P is going to be, see, the symbol that normally we use for electric field and gravitational field is same, so don't get confused. EP is going to be force experienced, force at P divided by this small mass m naught, test mass. Okay, test mass, test charge. Test charge is always taken as positive, and test mass, as it is, by nature mass is positive only. So Fp is going to be Gm, capital Gm into m naught upon r square into m naught. This m naught will remain as it is. So m naught will get cancelled. EP is going to be Gm upon r square. EP is equal to Gm upon r square. Okay. So E is equal to kq upon r square. EP is equal to Gm upon r square. I hope this is clear to it. Let me get the direction analysis of these gravitational and electric fields. So direction of the field. I'm writing field because we are parallelly looking at gravitational field as well as electrostatic field. So for a given mass, capital M, at a distance P, the gravitational field EP was Gm upon r square. And whatever be the direction of force is going to be the direction of field. Okay, so it is going to be EP is equal to Gm upon r square towards the mass M, capital M. Okay. Now, if I am taking this as the origin and this distance is r, so this is going to be the plus r direction. Vectorially, this is going to be plus r direction. So O to P is going to be plus r, OP is going to be plus r. So PO will be what? PO will be minus r. Okay. So I can write, if I am writing it like this, EP is equal to minus Gm upon r square. Now this shows that gravitational field is towards the mass. This is going to be the magnitude of gravitational field, Gm upon r square. Okay. Now let us analyze the electric field also. So this is your plus q charge, and at a distance r, there is a point P. You have to find out the electric field at P. So we did what? We find out that kq upon r square. That is the value of electric field at point P, which is nothing but kq upon r square. So whatever be the direction of electric field, whatever be the direction of force is going to be the direction of electric field. So this will experience a force, since the test charge is always going to be positive. So it will experience a repulsive force, plus will repel each other. So it is going to be away from plus q. Okay. Now, if I consider this as minus q, now what will happen? At this point P, electric field will be again kq upon r square. Now this time it is going to be towards the minus q, because this force plus q naught, Test charge is always positive. So this force will be attractive. Unlike charges will attract each other, and whatever be the direction of the electric field is going to be the direction of the force, or whatever be the direction of force is going to be the direction of electric field. So force is in this direction, so electric field also will be in this direction only. Since the force is in this direction, electric field will also be in this direction only. So E is equal to kq upon r square, and the direction will be towards minus q. And from here there will originate a very important concept, that electric lines of force start from the positive charge and end up at the negative charge. So these electric fields are nothing but the representation of electric lines of force, or electric lines of force are nothing but the way of showing the electric field. So if there is a plus q charge here and there is a minus q charge here, together they are known as a dipole. And it originates from plus q and it terminates at minus q. It originates at plus q and it terminates at minus q. Okay, so this is the electric lines of force. So it is originating from plus q and it is terminating at the negative end. Okay, and if to your astonishment, I'll say that whenever you are placing the tangent to this particular lines of force is going to give you the direction of electric field at any point. The tangent at this point, if you have to find out the electric field at this point, draw the tangent, this is the direction of electric field. If you have to find out the electric field at this point, this is the tangent. Okay. And one more thing, the greater the density of electric field, greater is the field strength. Okay. Lesser the density, lesser is the field strength. That part is cut, I will show you. Okay. I hope this is clear till now. So we have seen how to find out the gravitational field and how to find out the electric field at a given point. Okay. So the way is, for a given mass capital M, if you have to find out the gravitational field due to this given mass capital M at a distance r, what we have to do? We have to keep a test mass which is always going to be positive, like no need to mention positive mass is always positive only. So we are going to put a test mass at that point at a distance r from this capital M, and we are going to see what is the force experienced by that test mass. Okay, that will be G capital M into mass of that test mass m naught G m naught upon r square. Okay, now if you are going to divide it by that mass only, you are going to get the value of gravitational field at that point. So gravitational field at any point is going to be the force experienced by a test mass placed at that point divided by that mass, divided by that test mass. Write down the definition. I hope you have taken the screenshot. If not, you can go back and take the screenshot. Okay. So I am going to write down the definition of gravitational field. Actually, gravitational field is something, a representation. The magnitude is gravitational field strength. Okay. For example, the nearer the mass is, the more will be the force experienced, and hence the stronger will be the gravitational field strength. The farther the mass is, lesser will be the gravitational force and lesser will be the gravitational field strength. Okay, so I am going to write gravitational field strength is the force experienced gravitational field strength at a point is the force experienced by the is it visible? Yeah, it's visible. Is the force experienced by the test mass m naught placed at that point divided by, placed at that point, divided by the divided by the test mass, divided by the test mass, and this is nothing but E is equal to F upon m naught. E is equal to F upon m naught. That is the value. E is equal to F upon m naught. That is the value of gravitational field strength. And in case of electric field strength, E is equal to F upon q naught. Okay. Now in class 12 we are going to study in great detail about electric field as well as magnetic field. Okay. So you will find electric field very interesting. After that you will be seeing electric dipole, then there will be magnetic dipole, current carrying loop will act as a magnetic dipole. Okay. So yeah, one of the interesting difference between electric dipole and magnetic dipole, I'll tell you, is electric dipole means there has to be two poles. So minus q and plus q separated by some distance, let's say 2l. Distance L to L is the center distance. So this is electric dipole, such that two charges of equal magnitude and opposite sign are separated by some small distance, is known as electric dipole. However, magnetic dipole is there, which is north-south, or south-north. Okay. The difference between the two is this can be separated. Minus q can be isolated from plus q, but then this is an activity for you. Can you isolate south pole from north pole? Can you isolate or can you monopole it? I mean, monopoles do not exist. Even if you try to isolate, there will be south pole developed here, there will be north pole developed. Again you isolate it, there will be south, there will be north. So south, you also isolate it north, south. So you cannot create a monopole. So yeah, this is the case. Now guys, we are going to look at the field or the field at a particular point due to multiple charges. So let's say, let me write this superposition principle again. Superposition principle. We have seen superposition principle in case of force. The same principle is there in case of field also. Okay. For example, there is a body of mass m1, another body of mass m2, another body of mass m3, another body of mass m4, and there is a body of mass m. Okay. Now you have to find out the net gravitational field at this point P. The net gravitational field at this point P. How? Let's say this point P is this one. Okay, at this point P we have kept a mass m. Now, how to do this? I have to find a gravitational field at this point P due to all these charges. How to find out? Give it a try. Okay. Now I'm going to give you the method for it. Again, keep a small charge m0 here, the test mass m0 at point P. So there will be a gravitational field in this direction. I'm writing it E on the test mass due to first mass. Okay, and then there will be a gravitational field E. I must write vector sign E02. Gravitational field at point P due to 2. Gravitational field at point 3 at point O due to 3. Gravitational field at point O or on mass m0 due to 4. Okay, so these are the gravitational fields. Now the net gravitational field at point P is going to be E01 vector sum plus E02 plus E03 plus E04 plus n number of masses are there. So due to all of them, we are going to find out the vector sum. Okay. Now again, when questions are made like they'll keep masses on the vertices of a triangle or the vertices of a parallelogram or the vertices of a square. Okay. So by keeping it on the vertices of the different symmetrical bodies, they don't give you unsymmetrical bodies. Even if they give you unsymmetrical bodies, they'll give you the distances and the dimensions also. So for the symmetrical bodies, they'll tell you to find out, like we have done it in case of force. So there will be mass m placed here, 2m placed here, and 3m placed here, and they'll tell you to find out the net gravitational field at this point P. So it's going to be Gm upon r square, let's say this is A, plus Gm upon 3m upon G into 3m upon A square, G into 2m upon A root 2 whole square. This distance is going to be A root 2, because this is A. Okay. So now you can simply do that using, the vector addition. So vector addition will give you the way of doing it. I hope this is clear up till now. Guys, one more thing, if it is not clear, if it is not getting clear, do one thing, rewind the lecture, go back to the lecture, get to the point where you are finding the difficulty, and after that, even if it is not clear, call me, you have got my number, call me or message me, whatever you feel easy. Okay, so we are going to move forward and see some numericals.